Today I want to share with you a training method, a concept, an approach more so, towards training that has really shifted my mentality towards strength training. In 2019, I was already fairly strong. Honestly, way stronger than I thought that I'd ever be. But I honestly believe that I hit the full potential. I hit my ceiling. And I started to already accept the idea that I probably won't get any stronger. I had full planche on rings, iron cross on rings, and easier stuff, front lever, etc. Obviously impressive. I was training the Maltese for many months, probably a year at this stage, almost a year. And this is the first skill that I hit the wall with. I'm not really getting any stronger, while I do have more and more tendon pain, joint inflammation. I had golfer's elbow in my left elbow that didn't go away. Now, I was so emotionally attached to training the Maltese, and my approach towards training was always doing a lot, going hard. What I knew about training is if you work hard enough, you will get it. This was my approach. Worked hard was nothing that I was ever afraid of. Doing late night sessions, doing early sunrise session, whatever it takes. But there was no progress with the Maltese really. I was always going backwards with more pain. I had to warm up for a half an hour on rings just to conceive the notion of holding my full body weight with straight elbows, because it felt like my elbows was about to explode. So I felt like I definitely needed something that is first not written by me. I have to not be emotionally attached to the programming and decision making on the fly constantly, because it will just get me to want to max out, try the skill, be impatient. Second, that is battle tested, that someone has done and has merits to it. Third, that is probably will allow me to recover. That's what I knew back then. I didn't have the answers yet until I was introduced to a book, Easy Strength, by Pavel Tsatsouline and Dan John. Now, this is not a promotion sponsor book. I'm not sponsored promoting this book at all. This is more about mentality towards training that you can adopt for rings for calisthenics. Second set, 10 seconds full planche on rings with obviously band support. Don't quote me exactly on the book Easy Strength, but I get the approach. Don't get too caught up with the numbers. Easy Strength is about training easier in relation to intensity, to effort than you'd assume be beneficial for strength, but do it very frequently, 5 times a week to be exact, and train the same movements over and over again. Each day, 5 days a week, you train the same 3, 4 to 5 movement max over and over again. And it says that by week 3, most people are blown out by the results. Thinking about it, by week 3, you already accumulated 15 workouts, 15 touches with the skill, with the planche. If you're training the exercise once or twice a week, it will take you a lot of time to get 15 sessions with the skill. That's what Easy Strength is all about. Find a progression, find a weight, a load, body weight, external load. Obviously, they are more about overhead presses, deadlifts, power cleans, and we are about calisthenics, gymnastics, strength, but it works absolutely fantastic with the skills for the exact same reasons. And if you go away from this video with a number, with a percentage that will be the 70%. That's the number that you should remember. 70% of your 1RM. Why is that the golden number? And I talked about it on Instagram and surely in somewhere in this YouTube channel. Why 70% of your 1RM? Because 70% is something that is heavy enough. It does get you a strength stimulus. You do get stronger, but it's also not too heavy that you can't train it frequently enough. Hence the 5 times a week. If you only do it once a week, you probably wouldn't get the same benefit from this exact training percentage. Now don't get too caught up with the percentages. I will share with you how you can know what 70% is, which progressions you should do for your skills, how does it work without having to calculate anything, not using calculator, not using anything too fancy. We're not doing anything too fancy here. Okay, so first exercise, planche, you saw the first one. Next exercise, trying to get better at the inverted cross, and there will also be a Maltese later on. Inverted cross. Too much swing. Again, bend assisted, about 70% of my max. How much is that in bend support? That's 20 kg bend support, 25 more so. So that's about training with 70% of my body weight. You don't have to calculate it. What you just saw is a workout with no warm-up at all. I know I'm a big advocate of rotator cuff, warming up your elbows, your joints, external rotation, internal rotation, shoulder abduction, boom, boom, rotator cuff, scapula, all of that. 70% of your 1 rep max should be a progression that you are quite comfortable just doing with no warm-ups. I'm not saying that you shouldn't warm up at all. I'm just saying that if you were to not warm up, you'd still feel confident and your body will feel strong and safe approaching this progression. It might be a tuck planche for you now, tuck isometric planche hold. It might be a handstand push-up, full range handstand push-up on the wall. Or maybe you're training weighted street lifting, so it's 20 kilogram weighted dips or pull-ups. If you feel comfortable just going for it, no warm-up, that's a first good sign of the right training intensity when using the Easy Strength protocol. If you are looking to get stronger and very, very efficient at the skill fast, and if you are carrying some nagging pains and injuries, maybe elbows, wrists, or shoulders, that's a program or a training approach that you can try, because you won't max out as frequently and you will satisfy this training craving that we have for all of those people who want to get strong fast, work hard, do whatever they can. Don't really want to train and exercise only once or twice a week. Okay, if it's only max out, probably you shouldn't train it 5 times a week, but that's what Easy Strength is for. No warm-ups. Another idea that you can use is if you can do 10 to 15 repetitions with this exercise on your 1 set max. So if you can do 12 pull-ups, your maximum pull-ups is 12, that's the right weight, the load, the percentage for you to use on Easy Strength, doing sets of either singles to sets of 5. No more than 5 reps. We're talking about sets of 5. If it's isometric holds, if you're training skills, that will be 10 seconds. Let's do the second set. I'm only doing 2 sets of each skill, 2 sets of planche, 2 sets inverted cross, and then we'll move on to the Maltese. Now the second way that I approach it is, planche for me is easier. It warms up my elbows and shoulders. For the inverted cross, which is also easier in terms of intensity, not balance for me, than the Maltese. Hence it's last. So you can start with easier movements if you chose doing this training approach, something that will warm your body, not stress the joints, like push-ups, handstand push-up, dips, pull-ups or chin-ups, and then you can do your planche or iron cross even. When I initially did it, I trained the planche, cross, Maltese, and believe it or not, front squats and power cleans. Those were my 5 movements. Okay. Second set, inverted cross. With this training style, you'll do anything from 1 to 5 repetitions for about 2 sets. The book clearly and explicitly states to not do more than 10 reps each day. A lot of the overuse injuries, when you think about it, they come from volume, not intensity. How come? If I'm maxing out a skill that I can't do a lot of, I'm already limited by quantity. So I can't really get too much fatigued doing it if I can accumulate a lot of sets, a lot of reps, a lot of volume with it, right? But if I take a step back, I can do 100 sets of that. Just repeat until I get inflammation. So 10 reps per exercise a day, but you repeat it 5 times a week. I think the program states 5 days consecutively and then 2 days off, or 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. It doesn't really matter. You get the approach. You don't have to read Easy Strength and you don't have to apply this exact style. Let's do this Maltese set, the first one, and then I will go over how you change it day-to-day basis. Right now I'm focusing on squeezing my triceps and my lats. This activates all of the antagonists, all of the stabilizer in the movements. Now, funny enough, those are not the prime movers like the delts, the biceps, like the big gymnast muscle groups. But whenever I think about the stabilizers, everything else gets better and I feel less stress in my biceps, in my delts. It's almost easier. Less talking, more Maltesing. Now, if I wanted, I can probably do this for almost 30 seconds. I can do this set with this amount of support for 30 seconds, which also means I can probably do it body weight with no support at all. But if I do it daily, I won't be able to train 5 times a week, which is really what this program is all about, or this training approach. It doesn't have to be easy strength in particular. Now, you do vary workout to workout, but I recommend having a base workout, which is this workout, 2 sets of 10 seconds or 2 sets of 5, if that's dynamic exercise, like iron cross pull-outs, front lever raises, tuck planche push-ups, handstand push-up, 5 reps for dynamic, 10 seconds for isometric for 2 sets. That's your base workout. Do it about 3 times a week. That's your baseline. 1 session a week you go harder, and the other session a week you'll go even easier than your base. The rule of this program is also do not miss a single rep. If you missed a rep, it probably means that it's too difficult for you, and that really defeats the purpose of this exercise. You can go heavier on these days, but still confidently and surely not missing a rep. I know, in fact, if I reduce 5 kg from this next Maltese set, I can still hold it for 10 seconds. And I will do it right now. If you repeat this weekly, by week 3 you should feel extremely stronger because you get very, very efficient at the skill. You approach the skill daily, get very, very efficient at it, very strong. This strengthens your tendons, but it allows you to recover as well because you are not maxing out every session and you are not overdoing the volume, which is really where inflammation, overuse injuries come from. So you have your baseline workout, one session is harder, the following session will be a recovery session. Do one set of a regression. If you did pull-ups with 20 kilograms using this style of training, the recovery day will be one set of 10 pull-ups, body weight. No weight, easier load, easier progression. If I'm doing Maltese, my recovery day, I will probably just do an incline hold, 20 seconds. I don't want to even use bands. I don't care that it's objective. It's something that I can do a lot of reps with, still touching the movement, but allowing recovery because I'm one day after the heavier, the max out session. This is the easy strength program. Now, let's try a harder set. Let's try, that's 15 kg support, Maltese. Again, for someone who can already do Maltese on rings, that might seem easy, but the whole purpose of this training style is frequency. And if I max out every day, I won't be able to repeat the intensity and I will start really feeling fatigued, destroyed, joints aching, demotivation. I know it, I have tried it. Now this is not easy strength program. This is my program. I took the easy strength approach to training on rings because I have noticed that, yes, in fact, if I max out, I can only train about once a week, really hard on rings. I can maybe do one lighter session, and I told you about it, midweek, 3-4 days after. But I can't do anything very hard and strenuous like that first same max out ring session. Okay, even though I love training on rings and I want to do more in order to improve, I don't want to sit and wait another week. So I thought about an approach that I can right now do and have this setup with the bands and the rings just ready to go, even if I'm not warmed up, comfortable and strong, capable doing right off the bat, correct? There's something about only maxing out or training something very heavy once a week where you don't get to really build the work capacity because you're not doing a lot of work with it. If you're mostly doing short attempts, 1 RMs, short isometric holds, you can't accumulate too much volume. And if that's the only style of training that you do, you won't be able to build a lot of work capacity. And work capacity is this buzzword that for me means that if your work capacity is higher, you can do more of something. This is very specific. You need to train on rings in order to get your tendons accustomed to training on rings. If you just train pull-ups or running, you won't get that ring work capacity. So actually, if you only train this high intensity style, you will always be limited to training this once or twice a week. But if you find another way to get more session and volume done on rings, long term, you will be able to recover faster between workouts, even when you do go higher intensity and max out. As I said, I also love adding pull-ups and dips in different variations to this routine. I don't want to train too many skills simultaneously. That takes away from the learning opportunity. I confuse my body with too many skills, okay? So I keep it simple. I just do body weight, pull-ups and dips. I don't even add weight at this stage because I love how pumping sets of 10, 15, 20, 25 with these basics feel. And those are simple exercises, not complex, where I fall and fail and get frustrated with how difficult and complex or technical they are. I can just hop on a set and bang, boom, 20 reps. I want to keep the dips and the pull-ups simple. I'm not trying to complicate it any further than I already have with the rings. I don't want also to make them heavy. I don't want to compete, to make the pull-ups and dips compete with the rings. I want to stay dumb here, dumb with the basics. Save the heavy lifting, save the joints for the skills. This is for blood flow and hypertrophy. If this is truly for blood flow and hypertrophy and only to support indirect carryover performance to rings, then why do I really care maxing out a pull-up or a dip? Why do I care about lifting the most amount of load? That doesn't support either blood flow or hypertrophy. Then sets of 10 to 20 would. So keep it simple, light, body weight, keep it dumb. And that gets me going. That's the blood pumping effect that I want, that I crave from the dips and the pull-up. Arguably the two best upper body exercises. Honestly, whatever routine I did on rings, whatever skill I trained, dips and pull-ups, in some way, either ring dips, pull-ups, chin-ups, any variation, they were always in my routine. I never felt comfortable, no matter what my goal was, to leave dips and pull-ups for my routine. You can do it as warm-ups, if those are easy enough for you. You can do it to end the session. And those can even be your main goals, right? Street lifters, strongest upper body athletes, arguably, doing pull-ups with 100, 120 kg, dips with 150 kilogram, arguably strongest upper body athletes in the world, and the sport is only at its infancy, right? You can make them the main goal. Train them heavier. I know that I love the skill training. That gets me intrigued. When I started calisthenics, I was so bad. I was strong, but wasn't able to do a single pistol squat. And I was squatting 140 kilograms for 3 sets of 5. Wasn't able to do one muscle up, even though I was doing 5 sets of 5 with more than 50% of my body weight with dips and wide grip pull-ups or chin-ups, both. 5 sets of 5. More than 50% with deep bed, but no ring muscle up, no one ring muscle up. I was hopping on rings, shaking like a baby, and it really humbled me. I felt weak, and it's not that you're not strong doing squatting, deadlifting, benching, weighted, heavy weighted pull-ups and dips. Obviously you are, but it was weird for me that I wasn't even able to apply my abilities. The complexity of the movements. I remember Ido Portal back then was really on the map. I saw, he has that video from Strength Project, this YouTube channel, doing a freestanding full range handstand push-up in the rain, pouring rain. A little bit dramatic, I would say, but that was motivational, inspirational back then. And that complexity of movement really intrigued me. Your way of progressing was always learning something new. You learn the planche, cool. There's a better, harder, more complicated exercise that will get you stronger, but you are learning something new as you do it. And there are never-ending combinations and skills. I'm still learning new movements. My body is figuring out, even though I'm relatively strong. Let's do the second set. Let's go back to back, because I talked a lot. I rambled on for minutes on minutes. Let's go back to back. Whew. Now, something I have been experimenting with in regards to nutrition. I made the meat and eggs diet, and I said that my primary carb source is honey and fruits. And I experimented since with adding white rice or white potatoes. Those are my two primary carb sources right now, alongside fruits and raw honey. And you can call it animal-based eating. I wouldn't call it animal-based eating. I wouldn't mind having a spelt bread instead of white rice or fruit for breakfast, if that's something that I feel like doing. But I'm eating more. And it really surprised me how instantly, when you eat more food, you get immediately more energy and able to exert more energy in training. I felt motivated to exert that extra energy in me doing 2 sessions a day. I'm doing basics on the morning and then skills at night. That's the idea of the training approach, the easy strength. That's where it came from. I had extra energy. I don't want to train right now 3 days a week. I have extra energy in me. Let's do something. Let's work hard. Let's work more. Let's train more. And I didn't know how much I underestimated energy, calorie intake. I'm so surprised. It's almost like being a kid again, where you are still unconscious, unfamiliar with restricting yourself, intermittent fasting. You shouldn't eat at the morning, you shouldn't eat late at night, you shouldn't eat too many carbs, you shouldn't eat big meals. You should always stay 80% full. You should always, you're a kid, you're just eating whenever food comes along your way, running, playing soccer, and hide and seek in between as much as possible. Immediately as I started eating more, and the meat and eggs remain the same. The base is the meat and eggs. I only added extra carbs. It's not instead in replace of the animal sources of protein, because that's where the nutrient density and obviously the protein comes from. There's not a lot of nutrition, vitamins and minerals in white rice. It's plain carb that you are supposed to exert training. Now let me tell you something. That doesn't really defeat my recent recommendations of only training 3 to 4 times a week. Because honestly, some of these sessions are so light. I'm coming, doing 30 minutes on rings, no warm-up, few plunge sets, inverted cross sets, and multi-sets that I feel like I don't need warm-up for, and I don't need too much rest time for. That's not a workout in the sense of training like I was referring to, in the 3 to 4 days a week, upper lower push pull or full body 2-hour long session with tons of volume. That's not the same. If you train this style, trust me, 3 to 4 days a week is all you need. But right now, I simply have more recoverability eating more. I didn't know that it had that effect, or how restricted I was with quantities. Really funny, going back to a lot of the stuff that I said on that meat and egg video, like going to bed, not eating too much, felt good. You are constantly feeding this inner beast that you shouldn't eat a lot. Restrict yourself. The less calories, the better. Great, you didn't overeat today. I didn't know how immediate and meaningful impact it will have on my training. Being able to train more like a kid again. Now let's mix the pull-ups. Let's do narrow supinated grips this time. Like that. The narrow supinator, definitely more biceps this way. It's so cramped up at the top, I can't even get full range of motion. Am I jacked enough to say that I can't get full range of motion? Like I can't bend my elbows any further than that? I hope that I didn't take it too far. Well, that's too long for one video, so let's wrap it up. That's the easy strength training approach. You don't have to apply it to the T. But if you find the right intensity, you can train it, in fact, more frequently. You will get better at the movements faster, more efficient. Probably eat more. You train more frequently, eat more, you'll find the energy and motivation to train harder or more frequently. It's amazing how immediate the impact is. If you enjoyed the video and learned a lot, check the link in the description, the Bodyweight Tribe. Training programs, online coaching under my guidance, membership plans, everything the calisthenic athlete needs is in the link. The Bodyweight Tribe. See you next time.